Just give me some kind of sign, girl. Oh, my darling, show me that you're mine, girl. All right, just give me some kind of sign. And three young brothers, we seen it hard, we seen it kind of rough. But always with a smile, she was sure to try to hide the fact from us that life was really tough. I can hear my mother call. I can hear my mother call. Late at night I hear her call. On the Lord I hear her call. She says, Father, Father, spare the kids of any and all the things I did. Please, please don't judge me too strong. And the devil said, would you like to dance with me? We're doing the cosmic slop. Would you like to dance with me? We're doing the cosmic slop. A little bit of funkadelic for you. Yeah. Very nice. May the power of blue argonite propel you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. Blue argonite, baby. Well, all right. to all the funky people out there. Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host, Big Pontiac. I am also the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. And I am your one and only galactic daddy-o, welcoming each and all the chocolate mountaineers to my galactic patio, from Minnesota to the universe. And tonight we are still doing it big. We are drinking Boulder Beer's Shake, which is classified as a dark chocolate porter with natural flavors. And we've got in the bottom of this glass 95% chocolate, 95% chocolate bar. And so as you look at this, and this is that special Killian's red glass that you don't have and I do right now. And as I pour this delicious amber with subtle hints of chocolate notes into this mug, you wish you were me right now. You wish you could be me right now having this with the chocolate on the bottom like a little prize after you get done. So pop them if you got them. And we are still highlighting the one and only Unicorn Luca. 1 ringy dingy, 2 ringy dingies, 3 ringy dingies, 4 ringy dingies, 5 ringy dingies. All right. That wasn't a big stack. It was good enough, though. I'm already pretty fried. Fried, dried. What do they used to say? Fried, dyed, and laid to the side. What's happening, everybody? Living it up, living it up. Oh, yeah. It's Friday night. D, how you doing? My man Lobo, what's happening? You check out the game tonight, 3-2. That young brother they got for New York. Well, they got three young ones from New York that put that shit on the Lightning. They got the Lightning not knowing what to do. The one, Aggie Pride, for real. Thank you. PJ, my man. What's happening? Alice says, well, how do you think Follow had the Allen situation? How do you think your fellow Earthlings would handle it? Would we take it as negative, as a positive thing? The Allen situation, alien situation. Damn, reading the shit. As a government, I mean, as I said before, the ones they call the aliens been here so long that they ain't really aliens. If you like been here forever, you ain't aliens no more. So it is a psyop in every way. It's always been other type of beings. See, again, they don't say anything about these dimensional beings that move through dimensions. You know, that's how you get Marduk and any of them with the horns bent back. They say as you move through dimensions, it'll bend them horns backwards. So I don't even say nothing about that. You know, they just say that someone comes, that Star Trek shit. Well, you know, they came down in their ship. You know, that's some God stuff too, if you really look at it. What is this doing here? I put them over here for the solstice. Okay. I don't really have any quartz around me. All right. So I don't know. I wouldn't get too tied up into it. I wouldn't trip off it. If aliens happen to reveal themselves, I know they're already here. Yeah, exactly. They've been here. They've been here. Still confident in your Warriors pick? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm still confident in that. I completely forgot about the fan that got a Celtics NBA 22 championship tattoo. Bet. But we've seen that. I mean, you mentioned it about Jason Terry and others. It ain't the first time. This dude's did that in the past. So I don't think it's going to change anything. We just, like you said, Lobo, look at the money. Look at the money. That's what we. Hey, Valerie, thank you for joining. What is your deal? The Warriors forgot how to play basketball for the final 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. Of course. And they turned the basket off. Let's not forget that. I mean, they can miss on purpose. What is he tripping off of? They can miss on purpose too, but yeah. they weren't making very smart plays. As I was saying, one of the oldest NBA plays since the 3-point line is throw it around the 3-point circle. You see that time and time again. Oh, I'm not here. Throw it around, and that's an old play. And when you start seeing them, when you see Golden State trying to score, just as I was saying about watching the Globetrotter game, it's times where they just do tricks and it's times where they hoop. So when you see Golden State running multiple picks, they trying to score. When they might running in multiple picks, but when you see everybody just standing on the outside, a half penetration kick out, they ain't trying to score. They're slowing everything down. And as I said last night, no way you look at Hartford. He was easy the one to attack the whole game. With no way that if you just put a little D on him, that he was going to be self-checked. Wasn't moving good in the first half. Yeah, it's no way. No way. There was not enough pressure, but again, it's all a script. So, and as I mentioned with Hartford, they shamed the daddy who was bigger, 7-footer, end up being Ben Simmons. His daddy was like Ben Simmons, couldn't really hoop. Hey Lorenzo, how you doing, man? Thank you for joining. They've been pushing Tatum. Yeah, I mean, since he went to Duke, though, they've been pushing him. So that ain't nothing new. I mean, he's had national commercials almost his whole career. And that's kind of how you gauge a little bit of how the league feels about these people. You start seeing them nationally. I don't know. They're 6 out of 8. I know the Sam Jones ritual. I looked up 1968 championship, the first game. The first game was the Celtics against the Lakers. And it was the Lakers with Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Gail Goodrich from UCLA, and fucking John Havlicek had 40 points with no 3-point shot. First game, 1968, Celtics, Lakers. You got Elgin Baylor still pretty prime. Jerry West still pretty prime. Gail Goodrich, which a secret be told was the star of the 72 team when they won now 33 games when forever it was 32. That's something they definitely changed. And, they let somebody like John Havlicek score 40 points. But I say how John Havlicek is the same as Steph, running all them multiple picks for him. Multiple picks for him. Same thing. He'd run all day. He was like John Havlicek would have been equivalent of stamina offense, very similar to Larry Bird. Very, very similar to Larry Bird, not as a big guy. Larry Bird closer 6'8", 6'9", Havlicek 6'7". So not a little bigger guy, but the same type of really game and killer instinct. So Tatum's how to tie a tie vid went viral when he was young. I still tie a tie the same way my father taught me to tie one when I was going in my 9th grade prom. I still tie a tie the same way. But you got to be taught. I've taught my sons how to do it. Or you know what I do? Just tell them to keep them tied all the time. We used to travel when I played in college. We just kept them tied all the time. Hartford has a shooting form that makes me question how he makes his threes. He's way out here. Your elbow should be here. Hartford's here. Watch his form. He's here. You want to keep everything really you want to keep everything within your feet. You really want to keep all the energy here within your feet. You don't want anything really coming out, and Hartford is here. Again, when he wasn't strong enough, he's not here, he's here. I'm going to make a video on how different people shoot, too, one time. I kind of picked that up pretty good. Kind of pick up those tendencies that dudes do. But, yeah, Hartford has a terrible, 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 terrible form. But just as, I've said the story about Robin Lopez a few years ago. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Maybe it was the season they won a championship. They mentioned this, but I want to say it was the season before they won the championship, when Toronto won the championship. I want to say is when I got this information. But it could have been championship season. But The season before, this dude took like 13, 14, and 80 games. Okay, Lopez plays for the Bucks. The next season, he takes over 200. He takes over 200 the next season. So what do you think? I mean, where do you think that comes from? I mean, he's pretty sure that they're going to make it if all of a sudden, he's launching them. So this is the type of agenda. I think people was pissed too that they was kicking big dudes out the game. I think that's people would start to get pissed about that. And then, kicking all the big dudes, Americans out the game, but keeping cats like Giannis and let Giannis trample over people to the hoop. Him and his worthless brothers. And let them take jobs. It ain't right. And one day we got to fight back and say, fuck y'all. Fuck them. We ain't going to watch them games. We're not going to watch your games because you're bogus. Shaq is whack. Chiefs guy. Yeah. KD clutches his release for a split second longer when he's shooting to miss a shot. That's a good catch. That's a good catch. My dad was strict on tying a tie. You about got your ass whooped if you didn't know how to tie one. I bet. Yeah. Once I learned, and I like on the football team, I tied almost everybody's ties, and I just told them, quit coming to me. Keep these motherfuckers tied. Don't take them apart, and just tighten them up. So that's what most of my teammates did. But yeah, he does have a little bit. Yeah, and it's like, as I said, with Chris Jackson video, that's the best thing. He says, this is how you miss a shot. Got to talk and got to film. He said, this is how you miss on purpose. Why would you practice to miss on purpose? Why would that be even in your repertoire? To miss on purpose if it wasn't part of the show. They need you to, and they was missing on purpose before they was even earbuds. So they had some kind of system where they would miss on purpose before earbuds. So keep that in mind. Giannis plays like a buck for real. Yeah, he does. That's funny. They let Stephen cook up threes to set a new record of most ever made in the first quarter during the finals. Yes, but it wasn't a factor, but that made it look more like the Globetrotters because they played so well in the first half, didn't play worth shit in the second half. So yeah. What's next for Durant and Kyrie? I mean, they getting this shame work. I don't know. I don't. Both of them injury prone. I wonder what kind of contract the Nets would give Kyrie. I wouldn't have signed either one of them. Either one of them. If I had owned the Nets and bought them, damn if they would have been the ones I brought in. But I'd have been smart enough not to bring Paul Pierce and freaking washed up Garnett there either. It was just Paul Pierce. Follows script very well, but can't hide it through his facial expressions. That's why I showed that wink. When I showed Powell do that wink, it was like, there's no accidents on TV, but they occasionally show stuff that they kind of didn't really want shown because, it's no positive what it meant. But that's how it works. My dad had numerous ties, but I never really asked him to teach me how because I never was really into wearing a suit and tie. Bet. Okay. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Yeah. What are you crying about? See you. It's a cat here that used to be on the news. Like, I can just tie a Windsor knot. That's pretty the basic knot. But it's a dude from here that used to be on the news invented another type of knot. I want to say in Wise Guy. No. Yeah, maybe Wise Guys. That those was his knots. But this dude, the reporter here forever, invented his own knot. And a lot of people do their knots like his. But yeah. That's why I believe the injury was bogus because he sure has a show at ESPN Plus. Yeah, probably so. Yep. Good point. And I said the hockey, you know, I kind of watched the game the other day and I had to shift some money because I was like, yeah, I think New York was going to take that one too. So New York won 3-2. New York won 3-2. So won a little money off that because it's like, oh, Tampa Bay, it ain't looking good there. If they release Kyrie, would KD force his way out since him and Kyrie are best of friends? Probably would. But I mean, why waste money on them? They tried the free agency thing and it didn't really work. I mean, no, Hardy never worked. That's why that really made no sense. But you see how they moved the chess pieces where Harding was the piece to move Simmons. That's all that was about. He didn't push his way out of there. They was like, okay, we're gonna move these pieces around, get him there. It ain't working out, and then we'll get Simmons, move Simmons. Same as Clay's injury in that Raptors finals. I'll say now, I've said this before, in that milk commercial, the muscle milk commercial that Clay's in, the first time I saw it, they showed him you see a zipper, not just, he had that, like, you saw a zipper, the zipper is a full surgery, knee surgery. The stitches look like zippers, and that's what they call it. If they crack your chest open, they leave you with them zippers when they put it all back together. But that milk commercial, Muscle Milk, they showed a full surgery scar the first few times they showed that. But if you saw the later commercials, they took the scar out. No. What is over? I think it's a bag or something. It's probably mine you messed with. So, I really didn't put much effort into the intro of last night's game. Last year, felt like a 75th anniversary for the finals. That's a good point. Good point. Oh. You see Al Hartford turn into prime Dirk Nowitzki all of a sudden after a sacrifice. Yeah. Yep. And, they showed Hartford's daddy, Tito, in the crowd wearing a mask. Why? Like, wear the mask. It's just so stupid the way they want to keep those masks around because the masks mean control and the masks mean fear. I mean, you know how quick they had the country and the world wearing masks? And the controllers are sitting there just laughing at everybody. They smoking a joint like, look at these dumb motherfuckers. Look how quick we got them to do this shit. Fear, fear of dying, fear of suffering. And now the things that killed my channel and the 1,000+ videos, channel since 14, people say this shit every day. Yeah, I still appeal to try to bring that channel back, and it's, tired, man. What the fuck? Some more bullshit. But I didn't really have a whole lot tonight. Hockey was the only thing going on other than my pickleball prowess. Oh, didn't want to send the transformation energy out there tonight. I wasn't going to hold y'all up too far. Yeah, them goofy masks. Valerie says, who did he give up? His grandpa. His grandpa. OTF, welcome, if I didn't say it. And that's a lot of times how it works. My young neighbor is having a get-together. It's his birthday, and I forgot. He turned 21 today. I've known him since he was 15 or 16. And what's interesting is my son will turn 21 Sunday. So I got to send him some money. I just sent him some money last week. Dad, can you send us some money before the store closed? Yeah, son. I'll hook you up. So that's another milestone from him. He can buy his liquor and his cigarettes. He's the only one of my children who smokes cigarettes. Sherry Lita, how you doing? Thank you for joining. NBA Finals haven't had a special feel in years. I would say that goes back to me to probably the middle 60s, the middle 70s, because like it was just really suspect. Jabbar losing to 6'8". Boston had I talk about John Havlicek, but they also had Dave Collins, he wasn't even a good 6'8" center. Very limited in his game. Left-hand dude, only went left. But you want to believe that team, him and the old John Havlicek beat Kareem and Oscar. As I said, you can find, I think I still got a little bit of that footage of Oscar's walk of shame from losing that series. That's how far back it goes, back in the 70s. They showed Oscar walk of shame. You can even run, they've been shaming people. Gosh, I had a history of basketball book I since lost, which was a great book, but it had a bunch, and maybe I still have that book. I'll have to look. But it shows, a bunch of shaming pictures of, because I think if you looked at when Boston won 8 in a row, which must have been 60-68, I think they beat the Lakers something like 5 or 6 times in that 8 years period. And so they were even then into shaming. It was pictures of Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. And, Baylor was some of them games 40, 50 points. And if you saw Baylor score 40, 50, you better believe that he'd had 20 rebounds. For a cat being 6'6", he was, look at I think he finished with something like 17, 18 rebounds a game for a career. At 6'6", playing small forward, scoring forward. So just a little bit of basketball history. I did want to try something. If people want to try something, what is over there? What are they messing with? I'm gonna throw a shoe at the cat. Let's see. Okay, let's try this. That wasn't what I meant. All right. Guess we'll start like this. If you guys want to try something, you guys feel daring. Hey, Brother James, how you doing? Damon, what's happening? Thank you for joining, Damon. Humiliation rituals make sense. Wilt would have won more rings just off pure athleticism. Yeah, I agree too. Hey, what's happening, Magbone? Thank you for joining. Very kind words. Thank you, Brother E. Did you hear about the rumor that Chamberlain was allegedly gay? So he smashed 20,000 chicks and now he's gay? Never heard that before. Never heard that about Wilt. When Wilt said he smashed, was it 10,000 chicks? I thought it was 20,000 chicks. I read his book. It's in his book. Wilt was one of the first for the Mile High Club. That's why, that sex magic. Same way, they show magic in that series Winning Time. They show him in the sex ritual magic. But I've never heard that about Wilt. Never really. Not ever heard that about Wilt. Kansas City Royals equals, hey, Nate Robinson, how you doing? 212, 103 in gematria. Astros beat them 10-3 and became 20-12. Royals fell to 8-16, 8-16 area code. Wow. I saw the Yankees won. Yankees won today. So CWE, whenever you come in. Never heard of Wilt being gay. Yeah, I never heard that either. I never heard that. I've read a couple books about him. And no, it didn't seem like it. Byzantine Warrior, I am thinking the magnets were turned off in the Warriors in the fourth quarter. Funny how they couldn't seem to buy a shot in the clutch time. Exactly, Byzantine Warrior. They were. That's what they do. Or they miss on purpose, too. That's the same thing. It's really easy to miss on purpose, but they shut the baskets off. If it gets close, they'll put it out. But yeah, everything is well. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Wilt was lying on his mean unk. He was by. I've never heard that. I've never come across that. I've never come across that. Yankees fixing the sweep 39-33. New York equals 33-39. Tigers equal 33. What did they beat them? 12 nothing? Something like that. 6 nothing? Something. They beat the shit out of Detroit. Detroit beat fucking the Twins yesterday or the day before. So yeah, really was upset about the Twins losing. That's why I don't bet on the Twins. Not this early in the season. It ain't worth it. They ain't always coming, but they play some good baseball. I've definitely got to do a game, do a live from a game. So I'll get some tickets. I guess we're going to opening game here too. September 11th, I think, is the season opener. Man, we get so drunk going to games. Uber to the game. Then we'll go to a bar either before or after. You know, walking back on the train line. So my son already hit me up. He said, "Yeah, I'm getting the tickets for." Because that'll be my Father's Day, birthday gift, some old shit like that. So that's cool too. We can do it then. My son is on his grind. Oh, aggravating. Ooh. I heard they're goofy because how you smashing all them females and you got no kids. That's a good point. We don't. Yeah, he doesn't have any children. Have you ever touched on how they first started manipulating the shots with magnets? I say it appears like they were only able to affect one shot a game. It seemed like the old system, even if you watch a little more of that Don Nelson game when he hits that shot in the end, the possession before, let me get this right, the possession before, it's a shot. How did that shot go? It's a shot that shouldn't have gotten rebounded by Bill Russell, and it like rolled over to his side. It's like it shouldn't have went to his side. I'm trying to remember if that's right. It was a shot in one of them possessions that led up to Don Nelson's shot, and it was a layup. It was a layup that was missed too in those last few minutes, and they held Wilt out the game. Wilt was really having knee problems. And, you know, they've got the liquid cold, you know, I mean, really, you know, propane is cold, but they've got liquid cold that, you know, to get some inflammation out. And so Wilt had came out because Wilt was, you know, needed knee surgery. So he comes out and he just sprays that on his knee. He looks back at the coach, say, "I'm ready to go back in." Well, that rebound that I was talking about where it looked like they did something so Russell could get the rebound, Wilt wasn't in. And that final shot that even Don Nelson threw up. So that seems to be the early way of controlling it. Now the Jerry West shot, Lobo points out, you know, the net is swishing before the shot is even, you know, the ball is even in the net. The net's already swishing. So it appears like that whole it appears like the net even plays some part in it. As I said, the swishes look different the last 2 years. You know, even going in before the bubble, you were seeing a different way it swished in, just a different way. And so if people try to say that the swish shots are manipulated, they're wrong. Even though, and again, you know, a swish shot is going to still be mostly drawn to the back if you still see the way it drops in. But the way that the nets are affected by some of these swishes, you can kind of tell as well. So that appears how now, by the time they got to Georgetown versus Villanova was the first time I think they actually used the whole system in a whole game. That's what it appeared like. And when Jordan does the shrug shot, I talked about that last night, that is when they highlighted in the NBA. But the system was first put on a national spotlight, definitely Villanova versus Georgetown, where Villanova shoots 71%. And I know you can go back, these are Big East teams. I think by the time they played in the finals, I think it was the third or fourth time play at each other. So, but John Thompson got brothers that could get it, that could press and be on people. And the only person I ever saw shit on Georgetown press was Pearl Washington. Go back and look at Pearl Washington when they win the ACC or they win the Big East. He was shitting on their press. He was, and the press, you're supposed to never turn your back. He was getting full 360 spins. He was making them brothers as fast brothers. He was making them look bad. So that's appears now. We can even go back to, I say Flubber is another thing. Disney Flubber movie before the Robin Williams one, which most people are familiar, but the black and white Flubber one, it is interesting that they attach basketball to that. If you go back and look at that Disney black and white Flubber movie with the dude from My Three Sons, a lot of y'all ain't gonna know what that show was, but that was a 60s show. But Flubber was showing how technology could be used to enhance basketball. That's what Flubber is telling you. It basically shows a high school and how the high schoolers is, jumping on the roof and shit damn near. So it's always been a hint that basketball could be helped with technology. And so we see it in, I think that's 86. We see it on a national scale. So, and I think the thing that they added that, because I think the magnets existed before the missile technology was added. Again, Don Nelson shot and Jerry West shot appear to be magnet controlled more than guidance. Now, as we see Steph have his first breakout MVP season when he was shooting from, damn near the locker room, we were seeing the guidance system used. I mean, it's no way he shot that well. It's almost an impossibility. And we start seeing the guidance systems used. And the most I said, the one that was the most guidance was, as I've said many times, is Green shot in the 16 finals where he hits a three and you see the ball rotating and the ball stopped rotating and just drops in, which is impossible. And I was trying to see if that was on Facebook or would that one get wiped out, because I thought I shared it on Facebook. I haven't come across it yet. But and now when you see that same video, they take that part out. They've made sure to skip that part, because it live back then in 16, it showed a rotate, and the ball stopped rotating and just dropped straight in. So that shows missile guidance right there. Due to Mike Brand and Jeff Van Gundy being out with COVID, Mark Jones, and Lisa Sadd had to be first melanated team in NBA Finals history. That is why they went. Okay, I was wondering about that. That is why. Well, they made a big deal of women. They did women. The women got to do some final or some shit. So interesting. I'm still in my feelings from that 91 World Series. That's funny. Yeah. Derek White was last. Derek White was on fire. Well, you look at the one I showed. It shows that shot was definitely manipulated. But as I said, they've done that the whole series. They did number 31 for the Heat like that. So they've been, Danny Green. That's what we should call it, the Danny Green. LeBron was in San Diego's ass, San Antonio's ass. LeBron was giving them that work. But who was the difference of that series when Kawhi, I think, got his first one? Fucking Danny Green hit 6, 7 threes. They had no answer for LeBron. LeBron was matching them basket for basket, and Danny Green's threes was the difference. Just not believable. Wasn't believable. This guy comes out of nowhere, and he hitting 6, 7 threes all of a sudden. And, a lot of them not guarded, too. Keep that in mind. So that seems to be a theme of theirs. But, this was a good day. Got some serious stuff done today. Sometimes you got to be serious. Van Fleet did the same thing against the Warriors. Bet. Yeah, yeah, and that's what we have. We have, we have these guys created. Should Van Fleet even be in the league? You know, should he be in the league? You get better playing against better players. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. But some cats, you just wonder. Ah, there we go. Helps keep the energy flowing. Uh, Bruh had the hardest shoes on when he was with the Heat. Brown had the hardest shoes on when he was in the Heat. PJ would probably remember what shoes those was. Last good made final 16. That was the last 4 minutes of the game. 7 must see TV. Okay, okay. Hey, brother James, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I mean, yeah, there's been scripts that have been better. Even that Michael Jordan script of when he left. And just to tell you the humiliation ritual that Michael did, there was never another player in the history of sports that his last effort in sports was to win a championship. There was never an athlete in the history of sports, their last effort won a championship. Michael Jordan had done something no one else had ever done. So you see the other reason why they made him come back? They couldn't have that. And so that was part of his humiliation, because he never should have touched the court again. And as I've said many times, Michael Jordan is responsible for saving that Washington franchise, which he should be owning. And they screwed him out of that one. Oh, this is the host, Nobody's Fool, a good co-host. When did you first begin on the left-hand path? I don't know. I don't have a name for what it is. I mean, energy really goes from your right hand to your left hand. You bring energy into your right, like when you harmonize. That's why you harmonize, and the sugar is always in your left hand because energy, goes like this. Energy comes in this way, and it leaves that way. So I don't know if that's what it's called. I don't really think there's a name for it. My mind is just open to all the possibilities. I don't limit myself to belief. I'm limit myself to experience and knowing. So, which shoes? Yeah, which shoes for the Heat? I think David Robinson won a chip his last year. Yeah, I think he did. Him and Tim Duncan. That might have been him and Tim Duncan. Yeah, I don't know which shoes LeBron. He's talking about which shoes LeBron had when he was with the Heat. LeBron shoes. Yeah, MJ is responsible for drafting Kwame Brown. He was forced to draft Kwame. Don't think that he didn't. I ain't gonna lie. I love MJ acting a fool with the Wizards. What they did not want Kwame to succeed. They wanted to stop drafting high school players. That comes out of David Stern. David Stern was quoted many times saying, "I don't want my scouts in these high schools." So Kwame Brown, they purposely knew he didn't have the skills. In some ways, if Dwight Howard wouldn't have been a good defensive player, he would have fit the same boat as Kwame Brown. But Dwight Howard, a little better defensive player. Giannis and Kwame Brown, look at some of their first 4 or 5 years, stats is almost equal. I think their first 5 years, they're almost equal. But Kwame, they wanted purposely to fail because they didn't want you to look at Kobe. They didn't want you to look at Garnett. They didn't want you to look at Moses. As I said, Detroit Pistons drafted a dude, number one. His name was something like D. Young. If any of you guys remember this, he was a high school player. His name was something like D. Young. Like his last name, I think, was D. Young or something like that. This dude never, he went into camp and you never heard of this dude again. And he was the Pistons' number one pick. I want to say this dude was the 14th, 13th pick in the league. Can't remember what year, but this, and so they wanted mistakes. That's why Clark or Cook, they didn't want to draft Cook because Cook was about to be out of high school and could play. That's why they didn't want him. They wanted to start humiliating these high school players. I mean, look how bad what's the dude that played? He ended up being a good defender. Played for Utah. He wasn't brought in by Utah. He played in the 3-on-3 too. But that dude was treated horrible by Karl Malone. Karl Malone was so jealous of that dude. Because Karl Malone's skills was going away. Was it Stevenson? Good defender. I can't think of his name, but he came out of high school and Utah drafted him. They said that BS about him having small hands. No, small hands. Stern, yep. Stern is definitely Jewish faith and corrupt. Y'all remember this. Now, Loba, you'll like this story and read my soul ever see this. Nike was killing, like when Stearns banned on Jordan shoes, the shoes went crazy. At one point, Nike had booths in the NBA arena so people could buy shit. Nike blew up so bad, so big, and they wasn't giving the NBA any kickback. Stern demanded kickback, and they didn't give Stern shit, so he banned them all. Because I don't know if y'all remember, they used to be tennis shoes when you go to pro games. You could buy tennis shoes in pro games. I think they've taken that out, but at one time you could go buy shoes at the game. They have booths of sneakers and shit. And Stern kicked Nike out for not kicking him back money. It's like, fuck that. Michael made 2 game-winning NBA final shots. Where'd it go? On Brian Russell, it was humiliating ritual on him. Brian came to Michael and asked him why he retired to go play baseball. Heard KD to Memphis. Oh, okay. For who? Who they getting rid of in Memphis? Brian thought he was the Jordan stopper. Karl Malone tried to warn him, but just like a rookie, Brian didn't listen. Brian Russell, yeah. Malone was a true lame unk. Oh, yeah, definitely. Got to get my Rogaine. Y'all remember that? Damn, that's like a NASCAR race. Y'all remember that with Karl Malone? You know, got to go. Don't go nowhere without my Rogaine. You know, he in the barbershop and telling the barbershop to slap some Rogaine on because, you know, Rogaine will grow hair back here. One day we tried to go to Target Center and expose the fraud league like Zach Hubbard did. As I said, I've studied the hoops. You know, I've said many times, my cousin used to coach the Chicago WNBA team, and he was assistant coach for several years, or he coached the Chicago team for 5 years. He coached 3 years of Indiana assistant coach because his ex-assistant got the job before she went down to Vanderbilt. And I've spent a lot of time at the Target Center. You know, after games, you get to, you know, you have the well, if you courtside, but you get, you know, the tickets afterwards to stay after the game. You get to go on the court. Like, they don't really let children shoot. Sometimes they do if they gave out balls or something. But most of the time, they don't let you shoot. But you just wait out on the court for the players to come back out. And so I would be sitting there. Nobody would pay attention to me. And I'm just looking at this shit. I'm taking pictures. I got a bunch of pictures on Facebook I need to pull back out. But I'm just taking pictures. I'm looking at this thing. And like as the years went by, you know, I would look at the differences because I'm great at detail and looking at detail of how things are made and seeing the little details. As I said before, one thing that helped me in my quality control experience is I have it's almost like parts speak to me what's wrong with them. I have I used to have a great keen awareness of the difference or flaws in parts. I could look at a part and tell you what was wrong with it, even just looking at it for a few minutes, what was wrong with it. So, you know, I got a lot of firsthand look on the changes in the basket over the years. And as I said, especially the collapsibles, you know, that goes back to, you know, my high school days, back to 79. Summer 79 is first time I ever saw collapsible rims. And how that first generation was easy to dunk on. I mean, it really was. It was like you just had to break it. It was like you ain't even had to get over the rim. It was like a lot of dudes couldn't dunk before, could dunk on collapsibles because literally you could put the lip of the ball on the rim and it'd start breaking just if you could get pressure on that lip and you could push it in like that for dudes who couldn't really jump. All of a sudden they could dunk when they couldn't dunk before because if you can get the ball on the lip and you can just push it up, push it over. That's how the first collapsibles were. Um, and I would say even tip dunking became more prevalent for some reason on collapsibles. And something very similar, you could just catch it a little bit off the rim and kind of. So, hey, hey, Samuel, what's happening, man? Thank you for joining me. My uncle told me when he played for the Twins in '91, whatever team the book goes by wins all scripted and rigged. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Um, Thank you. That's very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I had a cool day. Still mild for June, but in the 70s, can't complain. 50s at night, don't need air. Don't need air in the daytime, don't even need fans. I love fans. I just love the sound of fans. And yeah, I don't need none of that shit. It's mild. I mean, like right now, I'm not sweating. I ain't got the air on. I ain't got a fan on it. It's just mild. I got the window open and shit. Ah. Mm. It's like 90 plus where I'm at in California. Crappy damn 90 plus. Woo! Yeah. See, it's nice here. It's comfortable. Matter of fact, I slept in, the pants of shame I got. I got those pants of shame. They paid me, they paid me to. Now I paid $4 at Macy's for them, but I slept in them and with a little blanket. Them in a little blanket. So that's telling you how cool the evenings was. And last night, I'll say this: I had a beautiful night with the chat last night and everybody. That was so cool. I didn't go to bed till it was daylight. So I did the 3 hours last night, got done, and then you guys just had me feeling so high and so good. I just stayed up. I listened to the birds, and I think I finally fell asleep about 5:30. 5:30. Yeah, because it was daylight, and I slept until 11. I knew I was gonna start getting calls about 11. I meant to set the alarm, and I didn't turn it on. Howdy, y'all. I am Pooja Sikh from India, living in California. Samuel is my white people name. Your European name. It's funny. All right. Punjaba. Punjaba. Okay. Welcome, though. Yeah, it's like everybody calls me Brian, but my mother still calls me by my nickname. And my mother gave me the name Brian. My name was supposed to be her maiden name, which was Bradley. That was supposed to be my first name. And instead, no, none of them. My cousin's nickname was Bradley, but his last name is Bradley. So his nickname was Bradley, but really his real name was Edward. So I would have been the only Bradley, but of course. But she watched some goofy movie with Brian Keith in it, because that's a actor's name. And she watched some movie with the motherfucker in it, and she's like, well, he's very dashing, debonair. And I'll say this: for a long time, I was the only Brian Keith in the country. I have a cousin that played at Boston College. It's a Brian Macon that you see play at Boston College. So the family, but I'll say this too: they've run out of names. That's one thing too. Not just they've run out of faces, they run out of names too. You click through names and you start like, wow. I mean, I know for a long time, other than my junior, my son. Yeah, because this guy, our cousin that played at Boston College, is younger than my son. My son is 31, about to be 32. So for a long time, it was just me and my son. But now, my whole name is common. For a long time, it wasn't. No one else had that name. Hey, General, what's happening, General Peace? Who you like to win the championship? I think they're going to give it to Boston. Al Hartford. I ain't swiveled. My money. I put my money. I got the early bet. Now, I didn't have that much money on them sweeping. I didn't have that much money on them. I put more money on to hedge my bet. I put more money on 5. they are going to win the next 4. They are going to win the next 4. Just want to be clear, the Warriors who keep saying Dubs in 22. So I'm still going for the Warriors. My money is in the Warriors. I always point out Curry made 105 threes from 45 feet behind the NBA, 3 in a row. Yeah, that's not. The finals the past years don't really feel like the finals. Well, you waking up from it. It's a common name, but it's very nice. Well, that is nice of you to say. That would videos to prove idiots who can't wake up. That is rigged. uh, I could probably drink another beer. Don't need to, but probably could. Warriors win next 4. I like it. Yeah, Warriors definitely win next 4. I think we're gonna see a repeat of what was the year that Iverson won. I think it's gonna be a repeat of that. I do want to do exercise, change up a little bit. And I probably can't hold this very long, so y'all don't cooperate, it'll be harder. But if you guys cooperate a little bit, I might be able to hold it for a little longer to help those that need help. I guess I should call a disclaimer. Because I hear the waking one. The waking one is like you can't be evasive, so I don't want to be evasive, but I might still have to help. So, So we'll just do it. I'll hold it as much as I can. I'm not gonna be able to hold it long. How many people in here? 20 people? Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to hold it too long. So I'm gonna do 2 things. As I said, this is the Zolite Corcorniavite. You say it, Corcorniavite. This is one of the strongest zoolites. Well, again, along with apophyllite. Zoolites are made to scrub and remove from you. So what I want to do 2 things. So the first thing I want to do is scrub something off you that you made no agreement. But the main thing I want everyone to practice, because I can do that without being evasive. Yeah, I can push that through. That won't be evasive. Because if there's nothing there to just move, the energy will just move. So, but the other thing I want people to try to see how long you can keep the voice out of your mind, to see how long your voice will be quiet. Now, I don't really want to count, because if I count, you're hearing that, and I really don't want you to really hear anything other than quieting the mind. So we'll do it for like maybe a 4 count, so it's not that far. Yeah. So, okay. So the first thing, if you want to participate, you don't have to participate, you can just watch me. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, no matter if you close your eyes, keep them open, it don't really matter. But it's the concentration and the intention that matters. Now, if you need to close your eyes, that's okay. I don't know if I necessarily need to, these bright ass lights, but I can still project without, yeah. Okay, so first thing we want to do is remove an attachment, or if you just feel that something is there that you did not make an agreement to be there, let that be our first exercise. So think of something, I guess you could even say bad luck. I don't know, whatever it is. But if it's something you spiritually think is attached to you, you have to have the intention of removing it. And through this Corcorniavite, and I brought some amplifiers plus my diamonds, but I brought these amplifiers, these quartz as amplifiers, so they'll help. So I'm going to push out this energy of moving and removing a small attachment. And so just take the 4 count in your head, No, yeah, this one, you take the 4 count in your head and have the intention of removing something that you made no agreement to be part of you. So we'll start now. Okay, as I said, that wasn't going to be very long. The second part, try to see how long. You don't have to count. I'll break it off when it's time, but see how long you can quiet the voice in your head, to see how long that will stay silent. Do you have control of it? Will it stay silent, whichever count you want to be on? Because I don't want you going 1 because that's the voice. I want you to completely shut it off, and I'll be with everyone, and I'll just cut it off. Because again, it's going to be fairly quick. So it's not going to be like you're going to be thinking like, how long do I got to keep it away? And it's knocking on the door. Hey, I need to think. No, it's not. It's going to be fairly quick. So I'm going to push this out right now. And the focus should be how long I can keep it all quiet. Now, remember, the urban way of meditating is you don't need to be in a garden. You don't need total quiet. Whichever sounds are around you is cool. That's the urban way of doing it. It's just we can't get away from that. We're not in the country. Well, I'm kind of in the country. But just start preparing yourself. Start answering all the questions. Start clearing it out. Answer everything needs to be answered, because that's what's going to start happening is your mind's going to start asking you question after question when you start trying to shut it down. So slowly answer all those. And, just forget it. A lot of times that's what I do. Reject it, forget it. All right. As you hear my voice, let my voice, for some moments, be the last thought you have. For some moments. Not hypnotizing, none of that shit. Just let my voice be the last thing that you think, starting now. All right. Okay. A few more people participated than what I thought. Okay. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Okay. That was pretty good. Just wanted to do that short little thing that turned people off. Whatever. Has to start somewhere. You have to learn somewhere. I have a feeling that teams that won the most championships in their respective sports won't be winning as many as they did the century like they did last. Could be. Could be. Could be. Oh my God, for all those late nights. Totally loving the experiment. Yeah. I take 4 grams of shrooms. I can see my emotions. That's kind of cool. That is cool. Yeah, because the emotions can be tied up into the aura, and so the emotions could, come through as colors the same way as your aura. I think the aura is more important than the chakras. It is an older system than the chakra system, and I know I got an argument with the girl. She stopped dating me because she was like, "Well, you think you know everything," but I'm like, just look this stuff up. People act like I don't study this shit. I just, be saying shit, and I like look it up. Excuse me. Mm. Mm. I love the bitters. Mm. Chocolate just absorbs it. Mm. Shrooms show a lot, but can scare people too, especially that much of the same potent stuff. Well, what you see a lot of times, the problem that has, and shrooms do the same thing that bud do. You can smoke good bud, and if it started to drop, like what cocaine would do when you smoke like freebase or even crack, especially freebase and crack to a certain extent, but it'll hit that adrenaline, and then you start getting that adrenaline dump. And you know how people say they're adrenaline junkies, they like that adrenaline dump. And adrenaline is like, generally you'll feel adrenaline come through here, and you'll feel, you'll feel it here, but adrenaline is like, comes like out of your neck and it comes up here, starts feeding you. I mean, you can almost look at it. It's almost like it's what it does. It's almost like a dump. It really is. If you can really, I know this kind of out there, but if you really can look and see what's going inside, it's almost like the stuff is dumped in. And at some point, if it's really, you really out there and you really buzz, that shit is almost like it won't stop. It's just too much almost, because it's that constant adrenaline is just being dumped. And you, like, at a certain point, you like, that's enough adrenaline, baby, I'm good. And it's like, no, I'm gonna keep feeding you. And that's what people can't. It looks delicious. I agree. It is to have yourself in a good mood to because a lot of times when I get up, that's one of the first things I do is I meditate. So get up and try to free my mind. And the little exercise, I know it doesn't seem like much, but these are a couple exercises that can help you because, as I said before, just moving through the day, you can pick up attachments. And before you know it, it's like the monkey is really on your back. And so you can just do these little things that can get rid of that kind of thing. And then being a commander of your own thoughts, and that's superior knowledge right there. I mean, no matter how you do it, learn to do that. Because like I said before, I would get in fights with my first wife, and something would come in and say, "Tell her you hate her." And it's just like, where did this thought come from? And I started seeing that emotion, but that hate kind of attachment comes in. And so anytime you have some type of argument, it's the first in line to come through to start feeding you stuff. And you learn that you've picked this up from somewhere. It's not how you really feel. So, but as I said last night, far as like just understanding this world technology, as I said, the simple thing to really to soak in is like a witch would always, one of her early tests was to have a candle that always burned and had a pot that's always cooking without having to do shit to them. That candle never goes out, and that pot is always cooking. And she ain't bringing in wood. She ain't making, the candle stays the same size, and that pot is always hot. She putting shit on top of the pot, but she ain't doing shit to the bottom of the pot. This is standard that a witch had to know how to do, or the other witches go in there and they don't see that shit. They walk back out. She's like, well, I can do some other shit. Like, this is the minimum. You got to minimally be able to know how to do these two things, because keeping the pot cooking all the time is the alchemist. Same way with even the candle. So we've had for a long time a handle on these things. It was through the practice of deep meditation that I developed and understood the attributes of the black jaguar, medicine power. Well, it's I keep this stuff around me, and I keep this stuff around me because I work with this stuff. And a lot of people like talk and they don't really like. Even I'll tell you what's funny about Pan-Africans. It'd be Pan-Africans that talk about this stuff and talk about having the Ankh and Tahuti and the Embro tablets. But when you would look at where these cats were spiritually, and did they ever spiritually work with this stuff, you could just see the way they talked that they didn't even work with this stuff. Like, like these people, they'll be talking on here with these unks, but you could see spiritually they had never worked with the unk. This is just, props. This is just props. I mean, this is something that, meant so much to me that I could find this kind of thing, because this is not mine. This is nothing but straight omen. That is straight omen with that scowl there, that transformation, and, the bounded heads. See, the Europeans have no answer to why the heads was bound. They try to tell you it's aliens. No, this was a practice. This was a practice going all the way up into Arkansas, because the Stellano Mounds. I have to get the book back out. A couple months ago, I talked about that book. They're still finding people with bound heads up in Arkansas. So this is a continuation of the Omen, Toltec, Mayan. Toltec the same way. Yeah, same way. I mean, they consistently even show you their gods with bonded heads. Picture all the gods. So even their gods are in their image of the binded heads. This is early Mayan. So, well, I won't go too long tonight. Yankees won 27 titles, but since the millennium, they've only won 2. Packers won 13, 4 Super Bowls, won 13 since the millennium. Celtics won 17 since the millennium. Canadians won 11 since the millennium. I think, wow, good share. Thank you, Lorenzo. The bad health of their bodies revealed their lack of integrity concerning the path, the way of life. As I said, the bounding of heads, is to take you out of the reptilian brain. Some kind of way they understood that. The Aztecs, you don't see the Aztecs like that. Aztecs didn't do that. So that's how they came from a different land. But the Toltecs, well, the Omen, Mayan, Toltecs, Mixotecs, all them, they did. In the ancient times, they did. But the Aztecs, that's where it changed. And of course, once, the Europeans came in, it ended. I guess I can do a divination. I did a practice, giving 2-for-1s. See, tomorrow, just the hockey game. That's all that's on. Here we go. Why'd you cry? And why'd you lie to me? Y'all know about them Beatles. All right. The card tonight is Ebb. I'm watching UFC tomorrow. Okay, who fights? Who fights, PJ? Who fights? Oh, you going to it live though? You going to it live? And so the card tonight is Ib. Broom, grass is the common use. Qualities: abundance, harvest, gratitude, chalice, emptiness, getting it all out, quickening, electromagnetic tuning. Wow. It's number 12. Bronze wheat is the color. I need a suit, bronze wheat. What color suit you want, baby? Bronze wheat, baby. Bronze wheat with bronze wheat shoes. Herbs are ginger. Bird of paradise is the flower. Apple blossom is the scent. Rutilated quartz. It's a fire element. It is from the south. And the problems you could have is issues of fulfillment, abundance, insufficiency, lack, issues of the mind, over-evaluating or devaluating the intellect. But the way you can turn around is becoming self-nurturing by doing what brings you joy and fulfillment. Be willing to not know, to be empty so that you can be expanded by consciousness. And I think that's a lot of people don't understand that. Be willing to not know, because sometimes it is okay to tap other people's intelligence And so even though you may know, you let people bring it out. And if you correct them, don't correct them as a trap. Correct them as, I think you just want to add this. So befriend your mind, use your body's receptor for higher frequencies. Let's see. Outstretched arms, hands come together on top of the head to perform a V. So I guess your hands will be like that. While you say, I am the cosmic corpiconia, ever singing thoroughly through the gifts of aspiring galaxies. I am open chalice. I am joyful expression of the abundance of the universe. And I want to say this. I thought about this, kind of got deep into myself a little bit last night. So I wanted to say this. I talk about often, and I guess often enough, where I was into a reality. Let me answer it. I'm going to watch Haney versus Kambusa boxing. Oh, okay. Valerie. Is the main event. It starts at 1. I'm watching it from. Oh, you watched it from the house. Okay. Bet. Okay. Fuck, I forgot what I was going to talk about. The Red Sox Yankees fixing to win again. Where you been? Yeah, they won tonight. They just beat the Tigers, though. Don't get too excited. They beat the Tigers. I forgot the point I was going to make. Well, like Richard Pryor said, the point is there is no point. So I'm going to tie it up there, y'all. Went 3 hours last night, so nowhere near tonight. I'll be on tomorrow night. Conspiracy University. If I get my ass up, I will send your hat out tomorrow, if not Monday. I don't know if I got a box, maybe. But yeah, I'll be getting that out. And I got to send him an email back because he might have some good stuff. So might be able to hook up some of my jewelry. So looking forward to that. I wish Jim Jones would get it together. Canadians haven't won since the 1990s. And they ain't even make the playoffs this year. Yeah, I don't think Jim Jones is going to get it together. I don't know. Well, y'all, thank you. I appreciate it. PJ, what size? Golly, I did see another warm-up, but it was a double X. Yeah, I did run into another one. But I'll go to the gift shop, try to see if we can get them one Timberwolves warm-up you was asking me about. Beverage style, I don't see it. 9 innings, 3 outs each inning. 9 times 3 equals 27. Bet. Gosh, what did I want to say? Oh, well, it'll come up later. I'll be on tomorrow night. Game's not till Sunday, so I will be on after the game Sunday. And I'll tell you guys what, if you guys want to do a little homework. Now, if Lobo's still watching, if he doesn't do a live of the game, I might follow. But the reason why I follow, I want people to start writing the times, because that's how I'll do it. Again, I won't show the game, but I'll start writing the times of manipulated suspected shots. You can see how many you end up with. And so if any of you want to do that, maybe I'll do a live during the game. And then when we see a manipulated shot, we write the time. And so you can follow along. You see a manipulated shot, write the time of the shot. And if you have enough time to the next play, write who. So good night, dear. Thank you for joining me. Yeah. Hey, you wear double. Oh, okay. You wear double X because I did run into, I didn't buy it, but I ran into because I wasn't sure if I had it, but I did run into a warm up at the Big Lids when I got there. So I have to check it out. I'll go back out there because I found another place got freaking Kangos cheaper. Kangos, even used Kangos, they keep their value, Jack. Kangos do not lose their value. Kangos are expensive. That's why I love to shop in Michigan. They was cheaper than online, but I found a place yesterday. And so I got to ride back out there. So I'll go check it out, PJ, to see it again. So I'll see. But thank you guys for joining. Thank you for participating. I try to answer as much as I can. I wish I could remember my question, or my exercise, but I don't remember it, which that's okay too. But this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I have been your super funky host, Big Pontiac. And so till we meet again, say less.